Step right up, dummies, and listen to the stupidest sports show on earth with Rodney Newpol and Tim Van Stratton. Yeah. Well, hello, dummies, and welcome to the 54th episode of the stupidest sports show on earth. My name, as you all know, is Tim Goose Van Stratton. With me is Rodney Newpol. Rodney, good evening. How are you, my friend?
I'm good, man. I'm staying tuned here to my my St. Louis Cardinals against your former team, the Los Angeles Anaheim of California Angels, and yet again another extra inning game in St. Louis in front of that 10,000 fans in the in baseball heaven of St. Louis. But it's 3-3, so enjoying the Cardinal Angel extra inning game here. So if I'm looking over to my left, just watching what's going on.
I, too, am watching some baseball on the other screen here. Ben Rice, as we were starting the show off, Ben Rice, my DH of my New York Yankees, hit a solo home run, 2 outs, making a 2-run ball game in the Bronx. Don't think it'll be enough. I think the Yankees are going to suffer their first L of the season. But good luck to your Cardinals, man. This is a big game as they look to strengthen their grip on the National League Central. Isn't that fun? We're talking division leads here.
Divisional leader of St. Louis Cardinals, and congrats to your Yankees on a good start, a 3-0 start, but a first
3-0
loss.
Start, 3-1, 3-1 now officially. Yep,
Officially.
Disappointing. Live updates here on the stupidest sports show on earth. But wherever you are, wherever you're watching us from, we appreciate you joining us as we got some viewers coming in. We have lots to get to today on this this Tuesday night. I didn't mean to cut you off, by the way. I didn't know if you had additional baseball thoughts.
No, not really. Not really. Just been fun to get baseball started. I know it's still early. It is finally April, but yeah, I mean, it's nice to have daily baseball going on and some good things going on throughout baseball. We'll get to that tonight.
We got Final Four talk. We got some baseball talk. We have a little NFL too, because as we all know, it is never not NFL season, and it is April. Happy April 1st, by the way. We don't have any April Fool's stuff planned. I hate April Fool's Day.
Same.
Scrolling Twitter today has just been an absolute nightmare. I don't know if you had the same experience, but I have been forced to second guess every single thing. And I feel like if you're an adult, and you still put out April Fool's Day jokes, or if you're a team or run any sort of professional account and you're putting out jokes today because it's April Fool's Day, I want you to have a very bad day. So I won't go beyond that because that's too much. But I hope that your day stunk.
Yeah. So as you know, I am a very big fan of Twitter. But on today, no. And in fact, I tried to stay off the social media sites in general today for that reason. Plus, it's local election day, and that's then a whole nother story around here. So tried to stay off them today as much as possible. Did a few things with the show, but other than that, because I don't need, if something really, a real story happens, I'll find out about it. But I don't need to know the half stories or the fake stories. So I'm not a big April Fool's guy either.
Do you know what I think put me over the edge, if I'm being totally honest with you? My alma mater today, Bradley University, you probably didn't see this. They released a uniform of an alternate jersey that they were going to be wearing for the following college basketball season. It was the Kaboom edition. And on the front crest, it said Kaboom, and it was gray. And I got to say, I knew it was an April Fool's Day joke. I knew that they were going to pull some bullshit and be like, oh, just kidding, which they did. But it was honestly one of the best jerseys I think I've ever seen, and I think that it would be absolutely amazing if they did that. But then they get your hopes up, and then they're like, oh, kidding. It's April Fool's Day. They're like, come on, man. Come on. Be an adult. Be a grown-up college interns who are running their social media account. I don't know. But all right, let's talk some college basketball here. The Final Four set, Rodney was 4 for 4. And I first of all, congratulations to you. It feels like you were far from alone, though, in this Final Four. As I've seen many people come out of the woodworks to show off their brackets and pick all the 4 1 seeds, 4 dominant 1 seeds, 4 excellent teams, all 4 of which I could see winning the championship when it's all said and done. We have Auburn versus Florida on one side. We have Duke versus Houston on another side. Overall, just from a pure basketball watching perspective, are we pleased with this Final Four?
Yeah, I think so. It's the Ken Palm top 4 teams, and it's not even close. It's we always complain about bad basketball at times. I think we're missing the big surprise, the fun story. There's some fun stories with these 4 teams. There's obviously plenty of storylines there. I don't mind it. I'm not like dying for the Final Four to be here, for Saturday to be here. If I'm around, I'll have it on. It's not appointment watching for me, but yeah, I mean, you're going to have a national champion that deserves to win the national championship. Any of those 4 are going to deserve to win the national championship. Had won their conference, we had a great tournament, and once again, we are at the Final Four without one of the power conference teams there. The Big Ten got shut out once again.
No. But Rodney, the Big Ten is always so good at the NCAA tournaments. They have so many championships, particularly in the last 25 years. No, say it ain't so. What?
Yeah, they are shut out 25th straight year. No Big Ten champion. You hate to see it, but you do have a Big 12. You have an ACC. You have an SEC. And you have 2 SECs. Yes, Florida and Auburn. So go ahead.
It's amazing. Like, no matter what happens, no matter how many Big Ten teams get in, no matter how many advance to the through the first round, there are 2 things that always happen. Number 1, they never win it all. Number 2, Michigan State's always the last one standing. That's just always. It's just that every single year. Like, no matter what else happens, it's insane.
Yeah, and Michigan State then is like an Elite 8, Sweet 16, maybe even a Final Four team, and always come up short outside of 25 years ago. But yeah, Big Ten had a great first round, not so good second round, fell apart third round, and then the fourth round was the last game for Michigan State, and they came away a loser. So I still like Houston. I think they have a tall task to take down Duke on Saturday. But I went with Houston and Auburn, and I'll stick with Houston and Auburn, and Houston is my champion. So, and I know we can talk more about it on Friday, but I'll stick with it. Houston, Auburn, and I'll take the Cougars.
That's good. I'll stick with mine. I'll stick with Auburn. I'll stick with Duke, the Blue Devils. Duke has Duke faced any sort of challenge at any point this tournament. It feels like they have just effortlessly blasted through every single team in their path, like more so than any of the other ones. He's like Florida nearly lost against Texas Tech, and if it wasn't for their run in the last couple minutes of that game, they get bounced. Auburn has, Auburn's looked pretty good, but they've had their moments. Houston obviously was pushed to the limit by Gonzaga. But yet it seems like every Duke game's just like, yep, Cooper Flag's good. The team's really deep. They win by 20.
Yeah, Duke's been very impressive, and actually, if Houston was eliminated, Duke would be my pick to win this tournament the way they've played. But I can't go back on my pick, so I'm going to continue with Houston here. But yeah, if you look at Duke's score so far in this tournament, they beat Mount St. Mary's by whatever they wanted to beat them by. They beat Baylor by 23. They had a 7-point game against Arizona, but I don't remember that game being that close. I think they were up double digits for quite a while.
It's kind of like the Auburn Michigan State game where it's only a 6-point game based on the final score, but like Auburn pretty much was up the whole way, and you felt like they were going to win. That's I think that's what it was like.
And then the impressive one was beating Alabama by 20. Alabama coming off that red hot performance where they scored 117 in the game before. Duke just slowed them down big time and beat them up. So yeah, I mean, their average score is, they're winning by 20 plus in the 4 games so far. So it'll be interesting, but I just like Houston's toughness in their defense when they need stops, and we'll see if they can get the stops in this one.
Right now, Florida is a 2.5-point favorite against Auburn. And obviously we're going to give our official picks on Friday, even though you sort of already gave your picks, as did I. So maybe we can leave it at that. But Florida's a 2.5-point favorite. The over-under in that game is 160.5 points for Duke. They are a 5.5-point favorite against Houston, but obviously Houston, very good defensive team. The total all the way down to 136.5. So odds makers expecting a lot more points in that SEC game, and then Houston Duke's going to slow things down a little bit. But I think it I'm kind of with you. They're going to be great basketball games. All four of those teams have cases to be a national champion. If I'm free, I'll watch it, but I don't know if I'm going to be like, honey, cancel every single plan that we have
Yeah.
on the books. We're watching because at this point, and I've talked about it before, the first 4 days of the tournament, I'm at a 15 out of 10. Then by like Sweet 16, I come down to maybe like 8, 7 out of 10. By Final Four, I'm pretty much out of gas. I'm in baseball mode. It's April 1st. Got the Masters coming up in a little over a week. Then I'd like, all right, yeah, 4 out of 10.
Yeah. Yeah, it'll be background noise for you at that point. Your Yankees might even be playing at the same time. So, yeah, it'll be an interesting Final Four. But like we said from the beginning, the best four teams, and that's very rare. I mean, very rare. Several 10, 15, 20 years ago, whatever year it was the only time. And there was still some arguments at that point about who that third and fourth number one seed is. There was no arguments this year. Like we knew the top four were, and here they are. They are the top four teams, and they've shown it. I mean, outside of Houston was threatened. Obviously, they scored late, but any of the ones really been that threatened? I mean,
well, like in this tournament.
I mean, yeah. I mean, I guess Florida was taking
That's what I was saying earlier. So Florida was against Texas Tech, and I think Houston was against Gonzaga. Yeah. So too, and then Auburn's games were not as dominant as Duke, but it felt like they were pretty much in control for each of their games. Duke's the only one where I watched them and I was like, there's 0% doubt in my mind that Duke is going to win this game. I think that's the only one seed where I've had that for every single time they've taken the court.
Yeah.
Will we have it against Houston? I don't know, but if they have a similar performance, if they're able to roll past Houston, win that game comfortably, man, it's going to be hard to pick against them, regardless of who they play in the title game.
Agree. So yeah, but go ahead.
No, I was going to say, so if you have any other additional thoughts on this Final Four, you could share, but I was just going to ask you here. So we're sitting here with 4 Final Four teams, all one seeds. This is the most chalk NCAA tournament, certainly in recent memory. Usually the tournament moments that everyone remembers, it's the big upsets. I think that we both have one moment that comes to mind of what was the signature moment of this tournament, but perhaps this is one of those years where the best moment hasn't happened yet, and we're going to see it in a Final Four game or a national championship, because I think that would be legendary. That would sort of make everything better for this tournament, I think.
Yeah, I'll give you 2, and actually may have a third one here we can end with. The first one is a real one. Second one's kind of more of a joke. But the first one would be the Derek Queen lay in at the buzzer, jump shot at the buzzer, an 8-footer or whatever it was off the glass.
Not a travel.
Nice play, very good. The buzzer beater, the one buzzer beater that we had to keep Maryland alive, keep them going. The other one I'll give to you is the Hunter Dickinson pass from the wing to the top of the key to nobody to give up an Arkansas layup on the other end. That's my mode of the tournament. It's like, dude, you're selling. Like you absolutely have to be selling here if you're literally throwing that to nobody. I'll give one more, and it was that very first play-in game. Mount St. Mary's?
Yes, the first playing game, and I was like, "Oh my god, this sets the tone. This tournament's gonna be incredible." I was in Hawaii. I ran out to my wife. I was like, "This is March." I pulled it. This is March. It was 16 seed versus 16 seed. Little did I know that was gonna be the highlight of the entire tournament.
Yeah, where they basically threw it to one end, scored at the buzzer. Yeah, that was a great play.
That was amazing.
It was amazing. Yeah, I would mention just kind of the Cooper Flag. Several of his just elite passes right at the rim would be moments that I remember. Mark Sears going nuts in that game before they lost. He had 30-something points, hit a bunch of threes. So those are a few moments, but I'm hoping we get a grand finale moment in the Final Four.
A Villanova UNC buzzer beater to win the title game. I think that will make everything right.
Yeah, I mean, a buzzer beater in the title game would certainly be nice.
So, by the way, I've been meaning to ask you this as we get to MLB storylines here. Who the hell is Luke and Baker?
Yeah, big boy. A big boy. Think of like Matt Adams from the right side.
Like a
Uh,
righty Matt Adams. I love that.
yeah, right-handed Matt Adams, like gonna be a designated hitter slash first baseman, not gonna play anywhere else.
Yeah.
Just hit a base hit to cut it. Oh, a double tying run. He's now the tying run at second base as the Angels
He's got
scored three.
wheels.
Yeah, well, it got to the wall. As the Angels scored 3 in the top half, now the Cardinals got 2 with the runner on second, one out. But anyways, a big boy, pretty good hitter, had some good minor league numbers, and I think it's going to project well for the team. I don't know, he's got a chance to play first base if Contreras goes down or Burleson doesn't play well, so he's gonna be on the roster.
Good. And that's our Cardinals talk for Gateway Sports. Thank you to our friends over at Gateway Sports for sponsoring the stupidest sports show on earth. They're St. Louis guys, so any sort of Cardinals talk, extended Blues talk, we'll say it's because of them. I think let's go with that. All right, let's talk some MLB storylines here. We've had regular season baseball since Thursday, so almost a week yet. So let's call this our 5-day MLB storylines. I got three for you that I'm most fascinated by, all right? Okay. So number one, it's the story that's sweeping the baseball world, the torpedo bats. In case you have been living under a rock, there are these new bats that are trickling into the league where it's the distribution of wood, basically more wood near the barrel, aka where guys are going to be making most of their contact ideally. And we're seeing a little bit of a surge in offense. Now, obviously, everyone's looking at the Yankees and saying, oh, well, it's because of that's the reason that they scored 36 runs in that series against the Milwaukee Brewers, the torpedo bats. But we're seeing a lot of guys across the league now are using them. Ellie De La Cruz has been using them. Adley Rutschman, Dansby Swanson, Nico Horner, Francisco Lindor, Junior Caminero, just some of the guys right now that either have been or are going to be using these torpedo bats. Obviously, we're seeing guys like Ellie De La Cruz, Jazz Chisholm have huge results with them. Others, not really a change. Do you find yourself annoyed by this torpedo bat thing, or are you like, this is a non-issue? This is totally fine. Use whatever bat you want.
Yeah, I mean, I'm okay with whatever bat you want if it's following MLB rules. I mean, obviously they are to get them checked and make sure the rules apply to them. And if MLB after this year or whatever wants to change the rules on the bats, fine, that's up to them. I don't care what bats they use. I do like the surge in offense. Now, I don't want 25-20 baseball games, but we're not seeing that. I mean, what we saw from the Yankees, we saw a lot of offense, but we also saw Nestor Cortez. That was one of the big factors. Like, first 3 pitches he threw went out of the ballpark. Torpedo bat or not, you still have to see the ball. You still have to connect on the ball. And so, like, I don't have a problem with the torpedo bats.
And Aaron Judge, by the way, for the record, for people, Aaron Judge, one of the many Yankees who was not using a torpedo bat. Shocker, the guy who hit 58 home runs last year and who hit 62 a couple years before that knows how to hit a lot of home runs, regardless of what bat he uses. Anyway,
without a torpedo bat, yeah. Right. I mean, and that's where I'm at with Major League Baseball. Like, if guys don't like other players using them, well, you use it and like take that advantage. If you think there's an advantage to it, then you need to use it. Pitchers are finding advantages, so hitters are trying to find an advantage. I don't have an issue with it. I do. Do we think MLB is going to come down and crack down on it? Where are we at with that?
It becomes an issue if a bunch more guys are using it and we're seeing a massive surge in offense because of it. Guys were using it last year. Stanton, I'm pretty sure I saw Giancarlo Stanton was using this last year. We weren't really seeing it, across the league. It wasn't really brought out. You can't really notice it, to be honest with you, on TV unless someone zooms in on the bat and you're really sort of like taking the time to analyze it and talk about it. But if we're seeing like a bunch of guys across the league doing it and teams are averaging 8-9 runs a game, balls are flying out that normally shouldn't be flying out, then yeah, I think it's a problem. But honestly, like, how is this different than a few years ago where the balls were clearly juiced? Like, that to me, I think is a bigger issue if like juiced balls than there are guys using bats that have a little bit bigger of a barrel. Because ultimately, you still got to go up there. You got to swing. You got to make contact. You got to make good contact, and in order to hit a home run, it's not like you just make contact and the ball flies 500 feet just like that. Like, you still got to be a good baseball player to do it, and that's why there are guys who are using them right now who still aren't, hitting all that well, because it ultimately doesn't make that big of a difference.
Yeah, no, and that's where, baseball is still hard no matter what bat you're using. So I have no issue with them using the bat. And again, if pitchers, if other hitters don't like it, well, try to use it and see if you can use that advantage as well. But I do like the surge in offense. I think it was needed in baseball right now.
Yeah, and also the Brewers lost any sort of argument against the Yankees when they gave up 11 runs to the Royals the day after they left New York. So
yeah,
in Milwaukee. So
yes,
I think we can put that to rest with them. All right, number 2. There are 2 undefeated teams now after the Yankees fell today. There are the Dodgers, who are 6-0, the Padres 5-0. It is fitting that even when the Padres get off to a 5-0 start, they are still not first place in their division. It's very early. Very, very early. Are the Dodgers and the Padres the NL favorites right now?
Yeah, I definitely think so. I definitely think they're the class of the NL. And, the Braves, I still think can be there, although they're a little banged up. I did want to let you know, Cardinals just tied at 6-6. Nolan Arenado with an RBI single. But yeah, I mean, I think the Dodgers and Padres are the 2 best teams. I also think Arizona's right there. I mentioned them in our pre-show. Now, I do still think there's a Dodgers little gap, Padres little gap, Diamondbacks, or maybe vice versa, Diamondbacks, Padres. And then you got kind of the Braves, I think, will surge as they get healthy and it gets warmer. Milwaukee looks bad right now.
Milwaukee looks really bad. Yeah. The Braves right now.
Cubs haven't played a home game yet. I mean, I think they're going to end up being okay. I don't know as if they're a top 5 contender, but yeah, I mean, I do think that the Dodgers and Padres are definitely the class of the NL.
It's a little skewed because the Cubs have played 7 games already, but they've scored 43 runs and given up 40. So it's very like high events baseball. What did they end up yesterday on Monday? 16 runs in Sacramento.
Yeah, in Sacramento. Yeah, and that's another thing too. Are we going to see a lot of offense in Sacramento? Is it a hitter's ballpark or was it a coincidence? Just one game, but we saw 20 runs. No, it might have been 18. Was it 18-4? It might have been 18-4. But we saw 20 plus runs in the first game there. We'll see what happens tonight.
Yeah, I've just looked. So yesterday's MLB scoreboard, the Royals scored 11 runs. The Orioles scored 8. The Reds scored 14. The Mets scored 10. Giants scored 7. Padres scored 7. Tigers scored 9. Cubs scored 18. So we're seeing some offense.
Yeah,
we're seeing some offense tonight. Yeah, Twins got 8 tonight. Oh, by the way, Cubs A's, speaking of Sacramento, it is 3-2 after the first inning. So we've had 5 runs in Sacramento through 1 inning of baseball. So to answer your question prematurely, I think that ballpark's going to be something we have to keep an eye on.
Yeah, I mean, let's start looking at early season overs in Sacramento and and maybe stacking offensive players in your daily fantasy lineups. And, I mean, you got to take advantage of those type of things. I mean, we've kind of mentioned, hold on one second. We might have a sack fly here. Oh, Trout's going to, he should have went. Trout overthrew it, but they didn't go. Anyways, so it's bases loaded, 2 outs now. But, we see take advantage of Yankees when they're playing at Yankee Stadium. Take advantage of players playing in Sacramento. I think it's going to be a hitter's ballpark.
Mm-hmm. All right. And then number 3, Rafael Devers. Now, I could have gone the route and say, hey, man, look how good so-and-so is playing. But I want to look at how bad so-and-so is playing because Rafael Devers had a whole offseason where he's the third baseman. He's the third baseman. He's not leaving third base. And then he reluctantly sort of accepts the DH role, where in theory, all he has to do is worry about hitting. But he's done anything except that started the year 0 for 19, 15 strikeouts. Maybe one of the worst starts that any player, let alone a superstar player, has had in a baseball season. Is there reason to worry if you're a Red Sox fan or if you're a Rafael Devers fantasy owner? Like, what's happening here? Are you pushing the panic button?
I don't think you're quite ready. I mean, it's April. It's going to be April 2nd when he plays his next game. I think we're a little early to panic too much. I mean, we have seen this guy as a pretty good hitter over the years. Now, you do want to start seeing some better progression, but very poor start. I wouldn't get too concerned yet on Devers. I wouldn't get too concerned. And update, we go to the top of the 11th in St. Louis.
Ugh.
More free baseball between the Angels and Cardinals. Now they're down to 6,000 fans in attendance.
I want to see what the attendance is, because I feel like the Cardinals now cannot do their normal nonsense of lying about the attendance. And yes, I know it's paid attendance that they announce. I know. I don't want to hear it. I'm just pointing out that it just looks ridiculous when you say, "Oh, 30,000 at the ballpark," and like the stadium is maybe a quarter full.
Yeah, I mean, yeah, I agree. I agree. But everybody announces their paid attendance. All the teams do.
Know.
Yeah,
I know.
So I mean,
it just looks
but
extra ridiculous for the BFIB.
Here's the deal on that. Here's the deal on that. People aren't buying those tickets. I truly believe the last 2 years they were buying the tickets, not using them. This year they're just not buying the tickets. They're like, screw this. We're not even going to buy the tickets. Why buy the tickets ahead of time when we're not selling out anyway? You can get them at the door. You can get them at the gate. You can get them the night before. So now that's why they get 21,000 last night. I'm sure.
Yeah,
I haven't looked tonight, but I'm sure it was.
I ended up looking right now. Yeah. So home game number 5, the announced attendance, 21,306, exactly 100 more fans than last night's record low, which is according to Busch Stadium, that's about 45% capacity.
Yeah.
I'm gonna go ahead and say, take a look at the actual photos at the ballpark. It's not 45% full.
Well, not now. Not in the top.
Well, not
11th.
now in the 11th. I'm talking about 4th, 5th inning, man. Like when it was still light out. Like you look then, not when on a school night. Why we got games this early? Too cold. It's too cold. It's in St. Louis.
Probably 38 degrees.
People freezing there.
I mean, it's 40. Now it feels like 44 degrees in St. Louis right now. That's cold.
But to watch 2 first-place ball clubs go head-to-head in a thriller.
Yeah, 11 innings here. So we'll see. Chris Roycroft is on the throw for the Cardinals now.
Any other big MLB storylines that I might have missed there? I know the Torpedo Bats is the main one, but the Dodgers and Padres being really, really good is exciting. Rafael Devers getting that awful of a start is concerning. It's funny. So the Rays, we're talking about like, the ball's flying out in Sacramento. The Rays are also playing at a minor league park in Tampa. And so I think they've played only home games so far. So only home games so far. They are 4-1, and they've allowed 9 runs.
Yeah, that's
23 and allowed 9. So granted,
that's Rays baseball right there, though.
Yeah,
that's how they're going to win.
Yeah.
I mean, that's a nice minor league ballpark. Been to that one. I obviously we're not seeing the offensive advantage, but it's also early in the year, and we know the Rays can pitch. But I was going to mention my old buddy Tyler O'Neill off to a quick start. He leads the American League with 8 hits, 571 batting average. I believe he's got a bunch of RBIs and a bunch of runs scored. So good for him. Bobby Witt's still good. He's off to a good start. Other than that, individual accomplishments.
Is Tyler O'Neill officially part of the ex-Cardinals who absolutely rake when they leave the Cardinals club?
Yeah. I think what you'd like to see out of Tyler O'Neill is the consistency and the ability to stay healthy, because he has shown these signs before, and then he's out for 6 weeks. His ability to stay on the field has been the issue for him. So I'm happy for him. I think he's a nice player. Hope he does well in Baltimore, and that's a lineup that can rake. He's definitely in a lineup that can rake. But Fernando Tatis is off to a good start. He's got 9 hits. Ellie De La Cruz, I think. Yeah, De La Cruz is hitting 430 or whatever he's hitting. So the stars are coming out early for the most part, outside of Rafael Devers.
Yes, that's correct. Yeah, and just I was going to mention with the Rays too. It also helps Tampa that they have hosted the Colorado Rockies and now the Pittsburgh Pirates.
Yeah,
who are basically minor league lineups as it is.
2 pretty light hitting teams there. The Pirates are not going to hit. I feel like the Rockies probably should hit more, maybe only when they're at home. But that's not a real strong lineup either. Those are 2 teams that I like to put a pitcher against in my DFS, really, regardless of who's pitching, just because I feel like they can get some outs, 5-6 innings. Yeah. Anyways, yeah, that's Rays baseball for you. They're pitching well.
Yeah, Rockies have scored 2 runs, 4 runs, and 1 run.
Yikes.
To open up the year with a 1-3 start. But they're home opener Friday against the Athletics of Sacramento. That should be a fun one.
Yeah.
I'm not gonna watch. Who am I kidding?
No.
Who am I kidding? No. All right. So that about does it for MLB storylines. Now, Rodney, I know that this is a big time for you. This is baseball season. This is March Madness. Can't wait to talk Masters with you, by the way, next week. I know that we're gonna have some conversations about that. You don't like betting golf. You like playing DFS lineups for golf, right?
Yeah, I will maybe throw a guy. I maybe throw a bet or 2 in to win. But yeah, I'm not, and I have not followed the golf scene real early on. I'm gonna have to get a hold of our buddy Skeeter, get with you. We'll put a lineup together. It's our tradition, unlike any other. Put a Masters lineup together. It's next weekend?
It is, yeah. It starts week from Thursday.
So the 10th. No.
Yes, that's correct.
Starts the 10th. Okay. Well, next week we'll have to put our lineup together. In fact, we could do it Tuesday night next week.
Oh,
a live lineup.
Yes.
A live
All right.
Masters lineup.
Yes, I love that. Everyone mark your calendars next Tuesday for episode 56 of our show, Live Masters Daily Fantasy Lineup, where you're going to watch Rodney and I put together a lineup that will win hundreds of millions of dollars.
Yeah. That reminds me of my fantasy show when Skeeter and I put our lineup together. It's always my favorite when, Skeeter's like, now I don't know who I want. And he's like, let me check something real quick.
Followed by 12 seconds of silence on live radio.
I'm usually like, well, here's our team so far. While Skeeter's coming up with his 5th pick, here's our team so far. Run down the lineup 2 or 3 times.
Right. Well, that's what you got to do as the host. You got to keep it moving. Right. You just got to fill the space. Correct. You can't just sit there and just let the silence happen.
And I'll be like, Skeeter, you ready for your pick? And he's like, no, I got to check one more thing. I'm like, okay, this is 101.1 Sports Radio. Here's the number to call or text. Get a hold of us. Anyways, so we'll do that. We'll do that next Tuesday show.
Perfect. But where I was going with that was, y'all, there's all these things happening. But today, my friend, was a reminder that football season never stops. And on April 1st, it's no April Fool's Day. There have been several rules that have been changed for the NFL season. Have you seen any of this, or have you been up to date based on some of the changes?
I'm not real up to date. I know you mentioned one in our group thread earlier today. Yes. But I am going to let you take this segment away, and we can go from there.
Yeah, I'll give you the cliff notes of each of the rule proposals that have officially been passed through. We'll share our initial thoughts. The biggest one is a change to the overtime rule in the regular season. I think it was a couple years ago, the NFL came down with the playoff overtime rule change that both teams had to possess the ball. However, regular season, we've had it for a number of years now where teams gets the ball first, scores a touchdown, it's game over. Well, now both teams will possess the ball in overtime during the regular season. The overtime period will remain just 10 minutes. Initially, I guess the rule proposal pushed for the regular season overtime to be 15 minutes. However, it was amended back down to 10 minutes here. So both teams, we're not going to have the win the coin flip walk off touchdown to end overtime anymore. So both teams will have at least one possession in overtime. You happy with that?
Yeah, I think it probably makes sense. Makes the most sense, right? I mean, that's what we've said all along is, a coin flip shouldn't determine. So no, I'm okay with it. I don't. I'm not against it.
Mm-hmm. All right. So another big one. It is everyone's favorite topic: officiating, flags, and replays. The second rule change of the 2025 NFL season involves which penalties can be subject to replay review. So now, starting with the 2025 season, hits on a defenseless player, face masks, performing a horse collar tackle, tripping, and running into or roughing the kicker are now eligible to be reviewed. Before you give your thoughts, I must tell you though that those penalties can only be reviewed if officials throw the flag on the play.
Oh,
So,
yeah.
if there is a penalty thrown for a horse collar tackle and the opposing coach says that wasn't a horse collar, they can challenge it. It is now eligible to be reviewed and looked at through replay. I think there have been a few instances where the face mask, certainly where a face mask penalty, we've seen it called this year. I think there were a couple big ones too in the playoffs where face masks called that ended up being phantom face masks and it wasn't eligible for review. That's no longer the case. So now if there's such an egregious penalty that's called for one of those potential penalties, the opposing coach can throw a flag or throw the challenge flag and it can be eligible for review. As much as I hate slowing the game down, I hate when these flags on phantom calls get thrown out there. So I'm happy we're at least moving toward a resolution there.
Yeah, that's kind of where I was going to go with this one too. Is like, okay, whereas I don't love more potential challenges, I do love calls that should not be called correctly. I want a missed call to be called correctly. But don't love the opportunities for more challenges, although they're not increasing the amount of challenges you get, right? Like the challenge rules stay the same. So like now coaches are going to have to like even narrow their gap on the challenges even more, as far as when they use them and when they don't. So yeah, no, I think that's probably the right step here. I just the whole challenge and maybe I'm skewed by what's going on in college basketball. Like under 2 minutes, there's 6 reviews, and I know those aren't challenges, but it's like, can we continue with the game? Yeah, let's continue with the game. And so anytime I hear more potential for more challenges, it makes me cringe a little bit.
Well, what it is every single significant play that happens, you don't even really have a moment to feel it, to experience it emotionally, because your head immediately goes to, well, this is going to be reviewed. So you just sort of have to wait before you can have any sort of natural reaction to something. And as a sports fan, that's difficult to do. Like, you just want to react to stuff. You want to just see it happen without having to consider, oh, well, actually, I know this is going to be reviewed because it's under 2 minutes.
Right.
So yeah, I get what you're saying there. It's frustrating, but yeah, that's a good point you brought up with challenges. Like, they didn't increase the challenges, so you have to factor this in now in case there's a really bad officiating call. Although, considering the amount of challenges that these teams do have, which isn't that many, I feel like coaches are really bad at using them.
Yeah, I do feel like it's, and there's certain coaches in particular, and they'll show the numbers where it's like, yeah, okay, he needs a new challenge coach. His challenge coach is not doing a real good job, or maybe he just doesn't listen to his challenge coach and he says we want that call. But yeah,
like,
but
Matt Eberflus was maybe the worst coach I've ever seen when it came to throwing the challenge flag.
Yeah,
it was terrible. He never got one right. It was awful. And all of the times he threw it, it was so glaringly obvious that it wasn't going to go his way.
And he was the favorite to win Coach of the Year.
Yes, of course. Maybe the worst that Vegas has ever done with setting preseason odds.
Then not good. Not good.
No.
I don't know what suckers took him, but you got suckered into that bet.
Probably the same suckers who are going to go with babyface Ben Johnson this year. Just saying.
Hey.
All right. More rule changes real quick. The NFL has moved on from the chain gangs. And for the first time, we'll be having Hawkeye cameras to measure first downs. So the chain gangs will still be there as sort of a backup plan, as a secondary option. But starting in 2025, the Hawkeye cameras will effectively replace the chain gang measurements on crucial plays using 6 8K cameras to track the ball's position on the field. According to the league, I know what you're thinking. According to the league, the process will take less than half the time that it took to measure with the previous manual chain gang. So they're saying it's going to be about 30 seconds for the entire measurement process with these Sony 8K cameras to measure whether it's a first down or not. I've always thought the chain gang is ridiculous. It's a multi-billion-dollar industry, and they're using these chain gangs and note cards to measure a first down, and no one knows actually where the ball is. This is long overdue. This is the rule change I'm excited about.
Yeah, same. And hopefully we're getting rid of like the 10 yards and the official uses the note card to determine if they've gotten that half inch or whatever it is. But yeah, no, I'm good. I'm good with this one. Technology, we see it everywhere. It should have been, you said it for best. It should have been done years ago. I'm glad this one's coming into play too.
And another change. So last year, the big rule change for kickoffs were the, I don't even know what do you call them? The dynamic kickoff, right? Where, everyone's seen football. You don't need me to explain it at this point. However, I felt like I saw a lot of kickoffs still end up the same. Gets kicked out of the end zone. It's a touchback starting at the 30-yard line. So they're really, really pushing to make kick returns happen again. And what they're going to be doing starting this fall is that touchbacks will now move to the 35-yard line rather than the 30. So another 5 yards closer. And they're hoping here that this will discourage teams from kicking so many balls out of the end zone, lead to some more returns. I mean, starting at the 35-yard line, especially in today's NFL, you make one play, you're in opposing territory.
Yes. Yeah,
Yeah.
For sure. And I think this one's another good rule that I'm okay with. And I mean, it kind of gets old just seeing the ball kicked in the back of the end zone. So let's see a few kickoffs.
All right, and a couple rule changes that didn't happen that were proposed. The Lions proposed to alter the playoff seeding, where wildcard teams with better records than teams that won the division would be seeded higher in the postseason. It wasn't outright denied. However, it was tabled. So like the Vikings, who won, 14 games last year, 13 games, 14 games, who ended up being a wildcard team, under this rule proposal, they would have been the 3 seed instead of the 5 seed, would have hosted a playoff game. The Lions also proposed a defensive penalty thing to eliminate automatic first downs on defensive holding and illegal contact plays. I still don't understand why defensive holding results in an automatic first down. I wish that rule would have gotten passed, but it was shot down. And finally, the tush push was not shot down. It was tabled. Definitely the most controversial topic of the conversations, I guess. But the NFL owners decided to push for a delay on the vote to possibly eliminate the tush push. I guess that there's more support than people thought, and they really need to think about it right now. This is kind of a unique rule change, so we'll see down the road if this gets banned. I hope it does. I'm so done with it. I'm not biased. I care about the fairness and sanctity of our great game of football. So
yeah,
that's a rundown. That's a rundown of football season here. What are you saying?
Yeah, I don't know. I don't know. I'm mixed on the tush push. I still think if teams don't like it, they've got to find a way to do it as well. But they don't have the squatting legs of Jalen Hurts like everybody else. But I don't know. It'll be interesting to see where that one goes. So what's next? Are they're going to come back together before the year starts, or how's this going to work?
Yeah, that's a good question. I'm not exactly sure what tabled means. Perhaps it's something that they revisit in the offseason, but then maybe it would go into effect the following year. Because like the Lions one for the playoff reseeding was also tabled. It wasn't rejected. So yeah, maybe it's something where it's tabled where it's automatically in discussion next year where a team doesn't have to propose it again. Because that's typically how it works. Teams can can bring it to the table next year, and maybe they're limited to X amount of rule proposals, but maybe it automatically carries over next year. I don't know. If someone in the comments knows exactly what that means, more than willing to accept that answer here, because I really don't know.
Yeah.
But but we got a few rule changes. It's exciting. I think the ability to challenge egregious penalties called, and the cameras and the machines being in charge of first down rulings is good. I'm excited about it. Go football. We're back.
We're back, baby. Yeah. So then was training camp's going to get started here in what, 2-3 months? The draft's first, but
well, yeah, buddy. You're so lucky that it's April 1st and we've barely talked NFL draft, my friend. Don't worry. I planned for lots of draft content between now and the day in Green Bay. I know you're going to watch. Don't lie.
Yeah, there we go.
First round. You'll be there.
Yay.
I did see that, again, you have to take everything with a grain of salt here, but it sounds like Shedeur might be falling a little bit further than people expect.
Really? Who are your Giants taking?
If I had to say right now, just based on after seeing their quarterback moves, after seeing just how the cards are being dealt, how things are looking, I think they end up with Travis Hunter. Hard to complain about that. Like, it's hard to complain about Travis Hunter. He's the Heisman. He's exceptional. He's great at wide receiver. He's great at cornerback. But yeah, I would say Cam Ward to Tennessee. I'm dangerously close to putting that as a lock at this point. And then Abdul Carter seems like the guy with Cleveland right now, unless they fall in love with Hunter. They're just totally disguising it, but it doesn't seem like there's been a whole lot of links between them, or they go off the board with Shedeur. But I feel like Abdul Carter's a good sort of pick for them. And then that leaves Hunter at 3. And it'd be really hard to pass on Travis Hunter to take Shedeur Sanders, just from a pure like talent of level of prospect.
Well, and I think for the Giants, I know they need talent and they need winners, and that Travis Hunter is talented, but he's obviously very marketable too. And that's something a New York team will enjoy. Is, hey, this guy is a face. He's a name. He was a big time college player, Heisman winner. Now he's ours. They don't have trouble selling tickets, but that's certainly going to create some buzz for the Giants. Who need additional buzz.
They need buzz. And like, so, but like, as much as we haven't really talked Russell Wilson or anything like that, but like going from Daniel Jones to Russell Wilson, that does excite people, right? Like, even though Russell Wilson isn't, the all-pro quarterback that he once was, it's an upgrade, and that's an improvement. You had Travis Hunter in the mix. Suddenly you have Malik Neighbors and Travis Hunter on the field together. There's two dynamic, game-changing wide receivers. Travis Hunter also going to line up on defense. They still have Dexter Lawrence. Like, there's some pieces in place, so that way, like, things can start to move. You build out a roster, and then maybe Arch Manning comes to town in 2026. I don't know. I'm just saying. It's possible. It's possible. What's the update in St. Louis, by the way?
You have those two receivers, and you can really let Russ cook. 9-7.
Or Jameis. 9-7 who?
9-7 Angels, by the way.
9-7 Angels. Yeah. Okay. So they scored 3 more runs in the
they did.
In the 11th.
They scored 3 in the 11th. Cardinals have got 1 in the 11th, but now there's 2 outs. So that's our latest update. And Trout through 11 innings has not given us our homer, right? No, went wrong on that one. I started hot with 3 in a row, and now I've lost 3 in a row. So maybe it's time to retire that for a little bit. But it was a good run. It was a really good run. Thursday, Friday, Saturday run of Thursday, Friday, Saturday.
Yeah.
So, yes. Missed.
Yeah.
But I mean, when you win a home run bet though, like it's several units. So like I'm still ahead.
Oh yeah. My God, dude, my account is exceptionally higher now, thanks exclusively to you. I think the mistake though, like it was a total heat check with Rafael Devers, like totally ignoring how awful he is to be like Devers home run as he just whiffs 3 more times.
Yeah,
like,
went Devers, Schwarber, and then tonight was Trout.
Was Trout, who's also been really struggling too. I think he has a hit tonight, but before that, I think he was hitting like 100 on the season.
Yeah, I mean, Trout against a left-hander, though, I thought could be a good matchup for him. Although Liberatore was fine. He did give up 3 runs, but pitched fairly well. But, Yeah, the heat check Devers that put me in a hole.
Is it final yet?
It is. Contreras just struck out to finish the game.
So sorry. Real quick NBA, by the way, Steph Curry tonight, 12 threes, scored 52 points.
He's pretty good.
So yeah, NBA. I feel like NBA is just taking such a backseat to everything else going on in sports right now. And then it's just like, oh, yeah, by the way, Steph Curry, 52 points. They won. They won at Memphis. Yeah, I probably need March Madness to be done, and then I can get back into NBA mode. At this point, like I'm just waiting for the playoffs. Once the NBA playoffs are in, I'll be excited. I'll be ready to go. It should be a good one. But it's hard. It's hard to get up for the NBA at this time of the year. And
it
like
is.
we both love it. We both love it. And like I'm watching every Laker game still, but I have a tough time keeping track of what's going on all across the league outside of that.
And it's the same with the National Hockey League, and my St. Louis Blues won their 10th straight tonight. And it's like, do people outside of being St. Louis Blues fans know that? No. And I know hockey takes a backseat all the time, but like it still is a professional franchise that's won 10 straight games. That's pretty good.
Mm-hmm.
That's pretty good.
Well,
they scored one late, and then they scored an overtime to beat Detroit at home tonight. So they've won 10 in a row. They're almost a lock to make the playoffs at this point, and have surpassed Minnesota for the first wild card. So there we are.
Be Vegas in the first round, or Colorado, or Dallas.
Wouldn't it be the winner of it would be Vegas.
Yeah, so it would be if they're the first wild card. If they're the first wild card team, which I'm assuming they are, then yeah, they would be the division leader with the lower record, like the fewer points.
Vegas. So yeah, Winnipeg would get Minnesota as of now. St. Louis would get Vegas, Dallas, and Colorado, and the Kings and Oilers. And actually, with 89 points, the Blues have tied Edmonton. Now I know we talked about this last show. It doesn't matter because Edmonton's still going to be the 2-3 of the Pacific. So anyways, but yeah, 10 straight wins. That's a lot.
Oh yeah, very much so. And if it is Vegas, that's the Alex Pietrangelo revenge series.
Again, yeah.
Chance to end his season.
Yeah.
Exciting.
Yeah. We'll see how that goes.
All right, let's get the show on the road here. We got a few minutes left. We got a couple things to get to. Real quick, Rodney, we are in the final 4 of our Stupid Show Madness. Make sure to head to our Twitter at Stupid Sports Show to vote now. What's the update there as we near the end of this tournament?
Well, we're not quite to the final 4. We are at the 6. We're at 6 right now.
Okay.
We still have 14 hours of voting, so till noon tomorrow. For the final 2 Elite 8 games. And this has been a very top-heavy UCLA Stupid Show Madness. In the Elite 8, there has been 5 UCLA champions. Not overly surprising. They were dominant and have been the dominant program since the 60s.
Big Ten, baby.
The first 2 teams, the first 2 teams in the final 4, though, were both UCLA, both top seeds. The West, the number 1 seed overall, 1972 UCLA, who went 30-0. And then in the South, the 1976 UCLA team that also went 30-0. Those 2 teams are in, and they'll await the winner. And right now, the 2 seed, and this might be recency bias, the 2024 UConn Huskies are leading. I think I have a mistype there. It is 2024 UConn, last year's winner. They are leading the vote over the 8 seed 1965 UCLA team. The 8 seed got to the Elite 8, by the way. And then on the other side, it's UCLA against UCLA again. This one is all 1973 UCLA at 30-0. So they're going to get in. They're just going to see if UConn can be the 4th team to get in. If not, it would be 4 UCLA teams. We must have some UCLA voters on our Twitter page.
I think for next year we limit it to just like the best championship team from that school. So like the best UCLA team. They only get the 1.
Yeah, you could lower it to like a 24 school tournament or whatever. It wouldn't get to 68, but yeah, no, I think that would work.
Yeah, because like Rodney, like where you live, you're in Big Ten country, so you got all these Big Ten homers that are just hammering UCLA right now in this poll, and it's skewing the tournament. I knew this. I knew this would happen when UCLA came to the Big Ten. I knew that they would just take over and ruin this stupid show madness here. So we need to do something for that next year.
So you got 14 hours to vote for these final Elite Eight games, and then the final four. We'll get started. Let's see. We'll get started on Thursday for the first game of the final four. We'll probably get to Friday for second game. We'll end up at the championships over the weekend and finalize right around Monday night. So we're coinciding this perfectly with the NCAA tournament.
Excellent. Well, thank you for the update. Let's wrap things up real quick. We just got a few minutes left. The best 54s in sports. I had a couple immediately come to mind. I'm sure Rodney had the same ones come to mind there, and we might as well start. Football, right?
Yeah, I mean, I think we got to mention Brian Urlacher, right?
I think Brian Urlacher definitely has that giant. I want it bald. I do not want the hair like we see on the billboards up in Chicago. I don't want to see a speck of hair on his bust. Okay, I want that bald head on our Mount Rushmore of 54s. But I was very interested in this. So I've mentioned Pro Football Reference. They show sort of the they have a stat that basically shows like the player's career value, and you could sort by that. Brian Urlacher is the second best player to wear 54, according to Pro Football Reference. Do you know who is just ahead of him? It's another linebacker, and he's a linebacker that is currently active.
Oh, is that Earl
Any
Thomas?
Ideas? Is not Earl Thomas. No, but it's very close because it was same team. Bobby Wagner.
Bobby Wagner. Yeah, that's right.
Bobby Wagner's ahead of Brian Urlacher. He's ahead of another guy who I think deserves consideration, Zach Thomas. Zach Thomas, Brian Urlacher are Hall of Famers. Is Bobby Wagner going to be a Hall of Famer? Probably, right?
Yeah, I would guess so. But our question is going to be: are we going to have three NFLers on the Mount Rushmore?
Well, let's go through some of the names and then we can decide that. Some other NFL guys that I know you would know: Teddy Bruschi, Baghdad Bruschi, as some people call him. Fred Warner, another really good linebacker. Has only been around a few years, but is already putting together a really, really nice career. Levante David, longtime Tampa Bay Buccaneer linebacker. So it's a big linebacker number, no surprise. Good players. I think Bobby Wagner, Brian Urlacher, Zach Thomas are you got to get at least two from that group. I think so.
Yeah, and honestly, I'm probably going Bobby Wagner and Brian Urlacher.
And leaving Zach Thomas off?
I don't know. I don't know if I can, but those two jump to mind first.
This may be blasphemous, but was Zach Thomas even the best defensive player on his own team during his prime? Because he suited up next to Jason Taylor. I feel like I always looked at Jason Taylor just ahead of Zach Thomas, even though both of them are Hall of Famers. I don't know.
Yeah. Well, we'll come back to our NFLs here because I'm looking at the NBA. You know, Horace Grant was 54.
Yeah. I mean, good player, long career. It's hard to put him up there though.
No, it is. Kwame Brown was 54.
Again, actually, very, very easy to leave Kwame Brown off the list.
Yeah. I'm looking at NBA, and I'm not so sure that an NBA player belongs on this one.
Yeah, I think the NBA one is going to be pretty weak. I'm looking at NHL right now. That one's also pretty weak, to be honest with you. So,
but baseball,
I think that this is going to be now. Baseball, there are a couple. At least one. Are you looking at it right now?
Yeah, you got to include Clayton Kershaw.
Well. 1 year.
Oh, no, 1 year. You're right. 1 year. My boy Sonny Gray was 54. Now I'm not
Sonny Gray. Yeah.
Not so sure I'm ready to put him on a Mount Rushmore. But Goose
that's the one right now. That's probably the leader right now. So according to career WAR of players who really wore number 54, not just spent a season in it like Clayton Kershaw. Your number one is Rich Goose Gossage. Number two, Sonny Gray. Number three is Irvin Santana. You remember Irvin Santana?
I do.
And then Number 4 is Aroldis Chapman.
I mean, I feel like you can't, because of his off the field, you can't put Aroldis Chapman on there.
I'm totally good with leaving Aroldis Chapman off the list. I believe it or not, I'm good with leaving Irvin Santana off the list of 54 Mount Rushmore. Sonny Gray's a really good player. Is it enough to beat Rich Goose Gossage, though?
No.
I don't know. Goose Gossage, 22 years wearing that 54. Is he a Hall of Famer? Yes. Yes, he is,
Yeah,
right?
he is. Yeah, no,
Yeah, he is.
There's in no world can Sonny Gray be on this over Goose Gossage. So it's got to be Goose. So you go in 3 NFL and Goose because you can't put Horace Grant.
No, yeah, like okay. So yes, it's 3 NFL, but we've done 3 baseball in the past, right? Because it's necessary. So it's like, okay, well, if we don't want to have Zach Thomas on there, well, then who is on the same level of success as Zach Thomas? Like Horace Grant, good player, not close. Sonny Gray, good player. I can't say he's close either. I'm looking like the best college basketball player to wear 54. I see Kent Benson from Indiana, Marquez Johnson from UCLA, Horace Grant again at Clemson when he was there, Ed Pinckney, Villanova. Like, I'm having a tough time with it. Yeah.
I think you stick with
it might be 3 linebackers.
Yeah, you go 3 NFL and you go Goose Gossage. I'm good with that one because I was having a tough time figuring out between those 2 who I wanted. So those 3 would work. That's a good Mount Rushmore, especially for being a 54. 54 was not a number I thought would be all that popular. We've seen a lot worse, that's for sure.
I'm surprised that Bobby Wagner is on it. It's very deserving to be on the Rushmore. It's for some reason Bobby Wagner has never been like, certain linebackers, you just always associate them with star. You think best linebackers in the NFL, and they're just guys that always pop up. Like even guys who retired young, like Luke Kuechly, Patrick Willis, like they immediately came to mind for me. Bobby Wagner was always just like maybe a tier below, but he's going to be a Hall of Famer. He's had an excellent career. He's 12 years, things still going. So, yeah, he's deserving. So him, Urlacher, no brainer. Zach Thomas and Goose Gossage. I can live with that. That's a good 54 Rushmore that we put together.
It is. And there it is.
There it is. That's the show. It's that easy. You be us. Anyone could be us. Just like that. All right, let's bring it home here. Your Substack, you're still winning people money. In case you have not signed up for the Substack, make sure to follow us at Stupid Sports Show. Rodney is sending out winners every single day. Every day. Every freaking day. Winners every day.
Yeah, the final day of March did not go real well. 4 and 8 was not a winning day, but March was still a winning month.
Winners after that.
Yeah, March was still a winning month with over 10 units ahead, and we are 35 and a half units ahead starting back in January 1st. So hopefully tonight went well. I have not graded them yet. I'll probably do so in the morning. But 35 units in 3 months. That'll work.
Yeah. And plus all the home run. Are you putting the home run props into the Substack too, or is that just like a friend special for me?
That's just a group text special, man. And that was how did that start? That started Thursday with it's just opening day, I guess, right?
Yeah, it was Thursday. It was who was the first one that you did it for? I don't even remember now. Goldschmidt was Saturday because that was the lead off the game for where the Yankees scored 20 runs, led off for maybe it started Friday.
Nolan Arenado, Jackson Holiday, Paul Goldschmidt.
Yes. That's right.
And then we went to
and Sunday was Schwarber.
Devers was Monday.
And then Trout was Tuesday. 3 and 3 right now. Yeah. I mean, listen. 3 out of 6 for any player to hit a home run prop. It's pretty good. It's amazing. Like you're gonna make money if you bat 500 on those things. So I'm still riding with you here.
Wasn't Arenado like 8-1?
Yeah, and with the boost too. With the boost, absolutely. Yeah. Like Arenado was good odds. Goldschmidt was good odds. Like you could boost it too. But yeah, but that's okay. Get back in the lab, and we're gonna win. We're gonna win on Wednesday. I feel
we'll
it.
see what happens.
All right. Reminder: you can follow us at Stupid Sports Show. Thanks to everyone who's been watching along. And finally, if you missed any of our show today or our previous 53 episodes, make sure to listen wherever you get your podcasts: Spotify, Apple, iHeart. The Stupidest Sports Show on Earth is the name. Make sure to give us a rating, a review, subscribe, unsubscribe, then resubscribe. All those good things. By the way, I know we kind of semi-retired the Barry Bonds stat of the day, but can I tell you Barry Bonds stat of the day that actually makes someone look more impressive than Barry Bonds?
Yeah, let's hear it.
Currently, and I don't know the exact number, it's close, but currently, right now, Aaron Judge has a higher career WRC plus than Barry Bonds. I think it's like 177 compared to 175 or something like that. Like it's neck and neck. But right now, and WRC plus, nerd number, total nerd number. We try to avoid it on a show like this. Long story short, Aaron Judge statistically is one of the greatest hitters of all time, and not enough people talk about it, despite him being a Yankee.
Yeah, he can hit.
Yeah, without a torpedo bat. Should throw that.
Yeah, right. Do you think? Yeah, he's not going to move. I mean, he's had too much success to move to one of those.
God no. Yeah, like and literally they asked him that, and he said as much. He's like, yeah, I think I'm hitting just fine without one. Like whatever you're doing, dude, don't change a thing. Like don't put a new bat in his hands if he's hitting 58 homers, 62 homers, has 4 already after 4 games. Like, no, dude, you're fine. Use whatever bat you want. All right, let's get out of here. Thanks for doing the show, Rodney, and we'll talk Friday morning, 8 a.m., bright and early to do a little Final Four preview, talk some more baseball, talk about whatever else happens in the world of sports. So thanks to Rodney. I am Tim Goose Van Stratton, and this has been the Stupidest Sports Show on Earth. Good night, everyone.
See ya.
Step right up, dummies, and listen to the Stupidest Sports Show on Earth with Rodney Newbold and Tim Van Stratton. Yeah.